Close your eyes for a second. Picture this. The cannon smoke clears from Gettysburg. The tanks rumble silent in the Iraqi desert. The drones hum quiet over Kabul. In every shadow of American glory and every stain of its shame, a single, invisible transaction echoes. 5 boardrooms light up like slot machines. Stocks don't just rise, they erupt. Contracts, thicker than blood, seal deals worth empires. And while 4 million souls, soldiers, civilians, innocents vanish into history's ledger, the same 5 dynasties pocket $500 billion. Not from Silicon Valley dreams. Not from Wall Street gambles. From war's cold calculus. This isn't a dusty footnote in a textbook. It's a living blueprint, etched in public records, audited ledgers, and congressional whispers. It's still churning today, November 22, 2025, as billions flow to Ukraine's front lines and F-35s circle endlessly. By the time this ends, you'll spot the strings pulling every declaration of war. You'll rage at the receipts. And you'll wonder if they built fortunes on our fallen. What's your stake in the next one? Buckle up. We're tracing the veins of this beast, dollar by explosive dollar. You won't look away. There's a shadow economy woven into the fabric of American power, one more predictable than tech booms, more insulated than fossil fuels, more entrenched than any cartel. It thrives not on innovation or markets, but on conflict, declared, prolonged, inevitable. At its heart, 5 families, 5 corporate heirs, who've turned patriotism into a patent. The DuPonts, alchemists of destruction, who turned powder into plastic empires. The Rockefellers, oil barons, who fueled friend and foe alike. The Morgans, financiers, who lent to the chaos and foreclosed on the peace. Lockheed's aviators, crafting wings that clip budgets forever. And Halliburton, the logisticians who bill for the rubble they helped create. Together, they've harvested every major U.S. war since 1802, revolutionary echoes to endless terror. The math, public domain. Contracts filed in D.C. archives. Profits tallied in SEC reports. Patterns as clear as a balance sheet. But this isn't scattershot opportunism. It's a machined playbook, refined over 2 centuries. War drums beat. Their shares surged 20 to 50% in days. Bids skipped for security. Pricing, costs reimbursed. Plus a velvet profit margin. Truce signed. They hoard the hall, seed lobbies for sequels, and branch into boardrooms worldwide. The fallen footnotes. Taxpayers. Fuel. Dynasties. Eternal, their trust swelling to $100 billion plus combined. Funding Ivy wings, Senate runs, and philanthropy that launders the stain. We'll autopsy it all. War by war, family by family. With the granular grit, the overlooked memos, the hushed hearings, the inflation-adjusted windfalls. Starting with the pioneers who literally ignited the industrial age of arms. But did their first payday come from a skirmish we romanticize as forgotten, or was it the spark for everything after? Stay locked, the fuse is lit. The DuPont dynasty, from Brandywine blasts to global gunpowder, 1802, rock, and beyond. Envision Bai Ling Ling, Eleuthère, Irene, DuPont, a French émigré with gunpowder in his veins, steps off a ship onto America's untamed shore. No wide-eyed idealist, he's a chemist, schooled in royal arsenals, who fled Napoleon's tumults, not for liberty, but leverage. The young republic, a powder keg waiting, westward push, demanding dynamite for dams, mines, and muskets. In 1802, he stakes his claim on Delaware's Brandywine strategic genius, torrent-fed mills for grinding saltpeter, a stone's throw from Philly's ports and Washington's ear, rural enough that a stray spark levels farms, not votes. The War of 1812 tests the blueprint. Britain blockades, frontiers flare suddenly. The U.S. craves black powder like oxygen. DuPont, primed, their inaugural federal contract, $50,000 for barrels of the stuff equivalent to $1.2 million in 2025 dollars. A fortune for a startup. As redcoats advance, output triples. Mills hum infernal symphonies. Profits, modest but multiplicative armistice. Infrastructure intact, a war chest for peacetime patents. Lesson 1. Build for battle, bill for eternity. The Mexican-American War 1846-48 sharpens the edge. Polk's manifest destiny devours territory. Artillery hungers for DuPont surges, $1 million in sales for cannon charges and rifle loads, $38 million adjusted, a 38x ROI on pre-war investments. But the true yield, monopoly, momentum. Deliver in the dust of Monterey, and you're the default for Dixie. Then, the Civil War, 1861-65, DuPont's Armageddon windfall. Lincoln's blue waves crash against gray walls. Gunpowder devours forests for £1 million alone from their riverside behemoths. Mills ablaze 24/7 under lantern glow. Contracts cascade. Over $10 million direct $325 million today. ballooned by sales to voracious privateers who flipped to Uncle Sam at premiums. Dark irony. The DuPonts, staunch Northern Democrats, loathed abolition. Family whispers to Jefferson Davis. Cotton ties to the South, yet blue pays prompt gray. Too broke. Profit trumps principle. Post-Appomattox. They spin the yarn. Loyal suppliers who forged Union victory. Scandals. Buried mills. Expanded. A chemical colossus born. World War I, 1914–18, catapults them to Pantheon. Pre-Yankee entry, DuPont floods, Entente lines. Millions of pounds of TNT, gun cotton, cordite shipped to some mud. Wilson waves the flag in 1917. Exponential, New Jersey plants sprout like shrapnel. They claim 40% of Allied boom-every shell from Argonne to Amiens bears their alchemy. Fiscal fireworks, net from $5 million 1914 to $82 million 1918. A 1,600% blaze, $1.1 billion adjusted. Post-Versailles, no fire sale. Warlooker launches dies. Films, Lucite peacetime proxies, but arsenals linger. Primed, World War II, 1939–45 reignites. Smokeless powders for Shermans, nylon for chutes, veiling Normandy skies. Crown jewel, Manhattan Project. DuPont Helms, Hanford's plutonium forge vast, reactors birthing atomic hearts. Cause plus covenant, every rivet reimbursed, plus 7% skim. Risk Washington's yield. Untold. Korea 1952–53, blasting bunkers. Vietnam 1965–75, napalm precursors to defoliants. Gulf 1991, scud hunters. Loads. Iraq Afghan 2001–21, subdivisions like Comores Echo, supplying composites. By 2025, the core defense arm spun off, but the vein runs deep. Family trusts crest $30 billion. 6 DuPonts from Eleuthère yachting on explosive echoes. Pivot perfected. Destruction funds creation. But if DuPont sparked the fire, the Rockefellers poured the gasoline in every inferno. Friend or fascist, their neutrality. A profit parlor trick. Eyes front. The Rockefellers, black gold for bloody engines, 1898, Afghanistan quagmire. John D. Rockefeller, not inventor, Imperial Standard Oil, 1870 birth. By 1880, 90% of U.S. crude, refined under his thumbrail rebates. Secret packs, a vice on lamps to locomotives. Teddy's 1911 trust bust, scatters seeds. ExxonMobil, Chevron Rockefeller tendrils, coiled tight. Spanish-American War, 1898, spark to inferno. Mahan's Sea Dogs demand oil-fired dreadnoughts. Coals, era creeks, to close. Standard, Sol spigot. Fleets guzzle Cuban-bound fuel. Contracts, modest $5 million AG, but mantra minted. Armies march on petroleum prayers. World War I, 1914–18. Oils, Armageddon. Trenches, mud. But tanks churn, Ypres, Sopwiths, dogfight, convoys, snake supply, Seazall, petroleum progeny. Rockefeller remnants, flood doughboys, and Tommies. Hundreds of millions in bunker oil aviation spirit. Shadier, German arms via Hamburg outposts, neutral Dutch funnels post-Lusitania, even treason. Technicalities, say nay, lucrative, exceedingly post-war. Standard shards dominate. Family vaults brimming. World War II, 1939–45. Duplicity distilled. Jersey Standard Exxon Forebear inks with IG Farben. Tetrathyl lead for Messerschmitt's synthetic rubber patents. Swap till Pearl Harbor's blaze. Luftwaffe rolls on Yankee know-how. Pacific carriers counter with the same. Truman's Senate sleuth pre-White House. Prolonged the Axis agony. Probes, Pierce, patent shares, post-embargo. Verdict, essential ally. No indictments. Contracts cascade. $500 million plus HI. 4 B-29 bellies, Liberty ship bellies, Korea's, MASH Helos, Vietnam's Huey herds, Gulf's, Abrams, Thurstall, Rockefeller, Runoff, Afghan trails. Black Hawk fuel, aggregate, $100 billion adjusted, a geyser from wells to wings. Family fortress, $11 billion in 2025, divested but diversified Chase Manhattan buys, UN halls. Oil's curse, it powered victory and vendetta. Wars crave capital to combust. Who fronts the inferno, hedges the hell? The Morgan's vampires of velocity, sucking interest from every volley. Their genius. Borrowers beg, victors repay, losers, irrelevant. The debt cycle spins eternal. The Morgans, debt's dark dealers, 1898 Cold War endgames, J. Pierpont, Morgan. Titan of the 1870s, by 1900, a syndicate unto himself, frails fused, steels, smelted U.S. steel, birthed in a Wall Street blink. Governments. His ATMs in crisis. Spanish-American, 1898, $100 million war bonds, underwritten Morgan's cut. Fees, fat, trust forged. Modest melee, monumental model. World War I, 1914–18, apotheosis, Europe's powder flash. U.S. neutral, Morgan, $2 billion sluiced to London. Paris, $58 billion at DJ. Closing parenthesis for Yank wheat. Wilson, wheat to arms. Cycle, banks advance, factories feast, allies indentured. By 1917, repayment roulette, Entente collapse equals Morgan meltdown, Main Street maelstrom, Wilson to Congress, democracy's call, Norris dissents, Gold's decree upon us, $, upon the flag, April vote, yay, bayonets back, bonds armistice. Morgan Maestros and Dawes, 1924, Young 1929 planned reparations rerouted, debts deferred, fees. $50 million plus, labyrinthine, lucrative. World War II, 1939-45. Redux, refined. Pre-Pearl, $1 billion plus 2 Churchill's exchequer, post-Hawaii. Treasury Symphonies bonds floated. $300 billion, war tab adge, Morgan-led. Fees fractal. Marshall Plan, 1948-52. Their conduits pumped $13 billion, rebuild cuts carved. Korea's surge, Vietnam's vortex, proxy chills, debt dances, by JPM Chase merger. Echoes resound. Total toll, $75 billion AG. Family phantoms, $30 billion equiv. Interests immortal as ink. Aerial empires decide dawns. Who forges the falcons that falter fabulously? Lockheed WWII tinkerers, $2 trillion titans. Their secret, promise paradise, deliver purgatory at, taxpayer premium, the F-35, war's white elephant, trunk deep in overruns. Strap in. Lockheed, Eagles of endless escalation, 1917, F-35, fiasco. 2025, 1912. Allen and Malcolm Lufeed, sick cobble crates in California garages. WWII, token trainers, recon rigs, $1 million contracts. Survival scrap, interwar doldrums, bankruptcies, cult Lockheed, limps via Civi, puddle jumpers, Pentagon palms greased. World War II 1939-45. Stratosphere, P-238 Lightning, twin-tailed terror, 10,000 plus thundering over Ploesti Guadalcanal. Hudson Scout Bomber, 2,800. Atlantic patrols to Burma bridges. $1 billion plus AG factories in Burbank blooming. Masterstroke, brass poach generals, 2 VPs, plants in key ridings, votes via paychecks. Cold War cascade, U-2's Cuban peaks, SR-71's mock mischief, C-130's global grunt, $10 billion per program. 100 to 5 Galaxy 1965, $2.1 billion lowball gives $5.3 billion reality. 153% bloat, cost plus cure, bailout bliss. Vietnam's Arclight Arcs, Gulf's Smart Drops All, Lockheed Ledger. 1995. Martin Marietta, Nuptials, Birth Behemoth. 2023. $67 billion, revenue per latest filings. 91% FedFed, F-35 Joint Strike. 2001 Genesis. $233 billion, cap gives $1.7 trillion, forecast GAO 2025 update. 871 defects, 238-day delays average. Why persist? 1,800 suppliers, 45 states snared senatorial shackles. Total trajectory, $210 billion, age, since trenches, public traded, but playbook, pristine, under-promise, overcharge, over-deliver, excuses, victories veneer, infrastructure's invisible ink, Halliburton, Sandstorm, sorcerers, conjuring camps from KSAT catastrophe costs. Their Iraq ledger, $40 billion for phantom feasts, and the Cheney carousel. Politics, perfect pirouette. Halliburton, Rebels Profiteers, 1942, Forever Wars 1919. Earl Halliburton, Oilfield Alchemist, Muddy's Wells in Oklahoma, Dust. World War II pivot. Airfields in Africa, ports in Pacific Ceratostola Maj. No frills expertise equals exemption. Korea, 1952-53. Barracks Blitz. Vietnam, 1965-75. Brown and Root Sub, Irex Da Nang Dens. Saigon, Sprawls, $2.5 billion plus, no rivals. LBJ Lifeline. Brown's checks bankrolled Austin Ascent. Oval, obliging. Guelphi 1991. Cheney Sectif log cap launch. Saudi sands to Kuwait craters, $1.5 billion. 1995. Halliburton Helm. 2000. Veep Vault. 9/11's ashes. KBR subseas, $39.5 billion. Iraq, Afghan Arc no bids. Cost plus cascade. Ghost galleys, $61 million. Unserved meals. Fuel fictions, $186 million. Overpumps. IG indict. $2 billion plus bloat. Wars fog, they shrug. Payouts persist. Cheney's recusal. Contracts 400% spike. Stock triple time. Tango. Options $8 million plus post-tenure, aggregate $65 billion. HH 2025. Yemen echoes, Ukraine pipelines pattern pulses, the eternal engine, 7 steps to sovereign strip mine coincidence. Code, Cracked, here's the cipher: 150 years unyielding. Ante-up and armistice. DuPont dams. Rockefeller rigs. Morgan memos. Peacetime plants poise predators. Rivals. Ramp-up roulette. Urgencies. Usurp. First shots. No bids. Security shorthand for sole source supremacy. Proven. Perpetual. Plus paradise pricing. Costs. Covered. Profit. Baked. 5 to 15%. Incentive. Inflate delays. Dollarize delight. Bloats bounty. Low bids. Lure. Revisions. Ravage. F-35 septuple. Zumwalt. Triple LCS. Double sunk fallacy snare. Abort. Admission of folly. Brass carousel. 4 stars 2 suites. $200,000 pensions to $2 million gigs. Oversight. Oxymoron. Echo chamber. Empire. $138 million. Lobby. 2024 open secrets. Hawks hatched. CSIS. AEI contractor. Cribs peddling preemption. 2002 WMD. Their whispers amplified. Harvest Horizon. Bloodbucks bloom. DuPont. Rockies foundations. Morgan's mergers. Wars. Wayne. Wealth waxes. Quantum. $485 billion. Direct taxpayer transfusion. $1.2 trillion. Tangential stocks spin-offs. 2025 NADAA. $895 Pi. Top quintet. 28%, $250 billion. F-35. 92 senators. Vested jobs as jihad. Missed miracles. $485 Pell Grants perpetual 25 years. Maglev, Mesh NYL, a Medicare for all 15 cycles. Infrastructure infinity. Oncology, Odysseys, 150 years. Squandered. Shrapnel, sludge, silos. Just wars, World War II. Jackpotted, dubious, DuPonted. Tet prolonged, WMDs, whipped cobble, clunchate, T-costs of war. Brown U, 2025. Immunities idle. Probes, prick DuPont, 30s monopoly. Standard 40s, treason. Halliburton, 08, fraud. Fines, flea bites, $1 billion on $40 billion. Cuffs, conspicuous absent, too big to jail. Pentagon prop, district deity, GDP god. Dawns demand 5 bloodlines, 5 battlefields, 223 years. Script static, prep, plunder, prolonged, pocket, perish, plebs. 2025, Taiwan tensions, $61 billion. Ukraine supplemental funnels flow, blueprint breathes, powers pulse. Capitalism's carnage, core. Not cabal, ledgers, laws, legacies, classrooms, heroic industries, airwaves, vital vigilance. You awakened. If this scorches your Spensitive, the heist horrifies, subscribe for sequels. Disruptors, dossier. Share the spark. Comment. Step 6 or 7. Next, your toolkit to torch the template. They thrived on tombs of millions. Reclaim the narrative. Fade slow, receipts remain. Vigilance, vital, and